It doesn't start with war, or riots, or famine. It starts with softness. A culture gets too comfortable. Leaders forget how to suffer. Men forget how to lead. And then, just like that, everything built by strength crumbles under the weight of its own comfort. History doesn't warn you with fire, it lulls you to sleep. Then it takes everything, Will Durant called it. Marcus Aurelius lived it. Spengler saw it coming. Hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men. And weak men create hard times. It's not a quote, it's a cycle, and you're in it. The question isn't if it's happening again, it's how deep into collapse we already are, and whether anyone remembers how to crawl out. Let's go. Chapter 1. The Cycle. No. One escapes. Here's the thing no one likes to admit. We're not that different from the Romans. Sure, we've got iPhones instead of togas, streaming instead of chariot races, but the deeper mechanics, the human stuff, still the same. Strength rises, comfort follows, and then rot sets in. Will Durant said it best. After spending a lifetime studying every major civilization, he boiled it down to this one brutal pattern. Hard times make strong men. Strong men make good times. Good times make weak men. Weak men make hard times. It's elegant. It's terrifying, and it's everywhere. You can see it in ancient Greece. Sparta thrived on hardship and war until Athens seduced the culture with art, ease, and luxury. Within a few generations, strength turned into softness. Philosophy replaced grit. And eventually, the whole machine collapsed under its own sophistication. You see it in Rome. The Republic was built by men who farmed by day and fought by night. Then came the empire. Marble statues, bathhouses, wine fountains, senators debating ethics while barbarians circled the gates. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, knew it was slipping. He wrote meditations not for power, but for survival. A daily battle to stay strong in a softening world. He ruled with discipline, fought his own wars, and begged his successors to stay sharp. Then his son, Commodus, took over and hosted gladiator games featuring himself. Yeah, weak men. The cycle isn't some poetic idea. It's a law of nature with a sense of irony, and it didn't end with Rome. Fast forward to post-Weed America. Strong men came home from war and built the world. Highways, families, industry, order. Then came the good times. Peace, prosperity, everything on the rise. But comfort always comes with a price tag. By the time Gen X came around, toughness was outdated. By the time millennials hit, trauma was a trend. And now we've got grown adults calling discipline toxic. Men afraid to lead because someone might get offended. And everyone medicating their anxiety with content, caffeine, or some cute new identity. Oswald Spengler, writing a century ago, said cultures don't just die, they fossilize. They turn into parody versions of themselves. Still performing the rituals but hollow inside. He wasn't talking about one country, he was talking about the West. And here we are. The problem isn't that hard times are coming. It's that we've created a generation too fragile to handle. Them, and the worst part, most of them don't even know the storm is coming, but we're just getting started. Because what comes after comfort isn't rest, it's collapse. And next up is the corrosive comfort that kills everything from the inside out. Chapter 2. The comfort that corrodes. Let's get something straight. Comfort isn't evil, it's just sneaky. It shows up wearing a soft robe and offering you a latte. It whispers, "You've earned this, take it easy. You don't need to try so hard anymore." And for a while, it feels amazing. But the decay doesn't hit all at once. It creeps in slow, like rust on steel, like rot in the walls. First, comfort dulls your instincts. Then, it rewires your values. Spengler warned about this. He said that when cultures reach their peak, they don't stay there, they invert. The very virtues that built the civilization get replaced with their opposite. Strength becomes sensitivity. Duty becomes self-expression. Sacrifice becomes self-care. And before long, a generation rises that inherits power, but doesn't remember pain. The rituals stay the same. People still quote Marcus Aurelius on Instagram. They wear gym clothes, they post grind-set memes. But it's hollow. It's not real stoicism, it's cosplay. Because stoicism isn't about looking calm under pressure, it's about building your soul under fire. Marcus Aurelius wasn't sipping herbal tea and doing breath work. He was fighting a war on the northern frontier while burying his children and writing by candlelight just to stay sane. Nietzsche saw this coming too. He called it the last man. A society that chooses comfort over greatness, safety over meaning, pleasure over purpose. He said the last man would blink and say, "We have invented happiness," then go back to scrolling. And here's the twist. Comfort doesn't just weaken the body. It unplugs the soul. It makes you forget what effort feels like. It turns struggle into trauma, discomfort into oppression, responsibility into someone else's problem. We raise kids who've never been punched, never failed, never built something with their bare hands, and then wonder why they can't handle life. We worship safety but lose our nerve. We chase ease but drown in anxiety. We have more freedom than any generation in history and less resilience. This isn't just softness, it's spiritual atrophy. And once that rot sets in, it spreads fast. You get leaders who can't lead, fathers who won't father, men who look like adults, but fold under pressure like wet cardboard. And when the storm finally hits, and it always does, those are the first to fall because comfort doesn't prepare you for impact. It just makes the crash hurt worse. But the worst part? Most people think the good times will last forever. They don't see the cracks. They don't feel the cold air seeping in, but we do. And what comes next is when the real damage starts. Let's talk about how weak men, well-meaning, educated, even nice, end up destroying everything they were supposed to protect. Chapter 3. How weak men break strong. Systems. Weak men don't look like villains. They don't twirl mustaches or light cigars in smoky rooms. They hold meetings. They write policies. They smile politely while everything falls apart. And that's what makes them dangerous, because weak men don't break things with force. They break them with fear, with indecision, with the constant need to be liked. They inherit strong systems, military, government, education, family, and instead of defending them, they start sanding down the edges. Let's not be too harsh. Let's make it more inclusive. Let's avoid conflict. And piece by piece, the spine of the structure starts to dissolve. Marcus Aurelius warned about this long before Rome collapsed. He said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." But weak men don't want to be good. They want to look good. They want applause, not accountability. They confuse power with platform, leadership with visibility, principles with branding. And when hard decisions show up, they flinch. They delay, they outsource, they delegate the hard stuff until it's someone else's disaster. This is how great institutions rot from the inside, not through coups, but through committees. Look at any empire in its final chapter. You'll see bloated bureaucracies, cowardly elites, and leaders who can't say no. Look at late-stage Rome. The emperors wore crowns but hid behind their guards. The Senate still met, but no one listened. The legions still marched, but morale was gone. Weakness became tradition. Spengler called it civilization in costume. The rituals are still there, but the soul is gone. Even in modern times, we've seen it play out. Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan, commanders with degrees, politicians with perfect PR, but no one with the guts to say the truth, because the truth is offensive. And weak men can't afford offense. They live on consensus, not conviction. So when the pressure comes, economic collapse, social unrest, global tension, they freeze, or worse. They smile and pretend it's fine. But here's the real danger. Weak men don't think they're weak, they think they're evolved, that they've risen above the need for toughness, that strength is primitive, that history is over, that nothing bad will happen, because nothing bad has ever happened to them, and when reality finally knocks, they'll be the last ones to hear it. But the strong, if there are any left, will have to clean up the mess again. So where does that leave us? Smack in the middle of a soft society, a hollowed-out culture, and a storm on the horizon. Now the question isn't if collapse is coming, it's who's going to face it, and who's going to fold. Next, let's take a good hard look at where we are in this cycle and what that says about what's coming next. Chapter 4. Where are we now in the cycle? Let's not play dumb. You know where we are. You can feel it every time you look around. We're not in the strong men phase. We're not even in the good times phase. We're deep into the weak men create hard times part of the loop. And you don't need a history degree to see the signs. You just need a spine. We've got leadership without courage, speech without truth, morality without cost. We idolize victimhood, outsource responsibility, and mock the very values that built the world we're standing on. We worship youth but reject maturity. We celebrate freedom but fear the discipline it requires. We teach self-love and forget to mention self-control. The same result, a society drowning in convenience and starving for meaning. We have more access to wisdom than any generation in history and less interest in actually using it. Think about it. When was the last time you heard someone praised for being humble, or stoic, or self-sacrificing? Those used to be virtues. Now they're punchlines. People quote Marcus Aurelius between TikToks and break down over minor inconveniences. They share Epictetus memes but need safe spaces when reality gets loud. We've created an entire generation that can't tell the difference between being uncomfortable and being unsafe. And that's not accidental. Weak cultures raise weak people on purpose. Why? Because strength is dangerous. Discipline is dangerous. Conviction is dangerous. You can't control a strong man. You can only negotiate with him. But a soft, insecure, distracted man, you can sell him anything. He'll trade his freedom for comfort, his integrity for acceptance, his future for a dopamine hit right now, and the system loves that. Because here's the truth. Hard times aren't coming because of some external enemy. They're coming because we let them in. Through every compromise, every excuse, every time we said someone else will fix it, but no one's coming. It's you. It's us. And the only way out is through. Next, let's talk about what that actually means, because hard times are coming, and the test is already starting. The only question left is, what kind of man shows up when the collapse begins? Chapter 5. What happens next? Depends on you. This is where the excuses run out. You can't blame the politicians, you can't blame the economy, you can't even blame your parents. The collapse isn't waiting for permission, and it doesn't care how you feel about it. It's already happening in slow motion, and no one's coming to save you, the strong men who built the world you live in. Most of them are dead. The ones left are aging, sidelined, or silent. That means one thing, it's your turn now. But here's the hard truth. If you weren't forged in fire, you have to walk into it voluntarily. You have to make yourself strong before the test comes. Because once it's here, it's too late. And that's what separates strong men from weak ones. Not what they were born into, but what they choose to become. You don't need a war to make you tough. You don't need a crisis to make you sharp. You don't need permission to lead, to build, to resist the rot. You need one thing, discipline, not the motivational kind, the boring, brutal, daily kind, the kind that wakes up when it doesn't feel like it, that lifts when it's tired, that speaks the truth when it would be easier to stay quiet, the kind that holds the line. Because in every generation, someone has to. Someone has to. Say, not on my watch. That's how the cycle is broken. Not with elections, not with hashtags, not with nostalgia, with men who refuse to stay weak. So here's the test. When the storm hits, and it will you be the one who cracks or the one who carries? The answer doesn't start later. It starts right now. Call to action. If this stirred something in you, good. That means there's something in you worth waking up. Tell me where you think we are in the cycle. Tell me what strength means to you now. Because talking about it is the first act of resistance. And if you're ready for more hard truths, more history, more fuel for the fire, subscribe. The age of comfort is ending. Let's get to work. Chapter 4. Where are we now in the cycle? Let's not play dumb. You know where we are. You can feel it every time you look around. We're not in the strong men phase. We're not even in the good times phase. We're deep into the weak men create hard times part of the loop. And you don't need a history degree to see the signs, you just need a spine. We've got leadership without courage, speech without truth, morality without cost. We idolize victimhood, outsource responsibility, and mock the very values that built the world we're standing on. We worship youth but reject maturity. We celebrate freedom but fear the discipline it requires. We teach self-love and forget to mention self-control. The result? A society drowning in convenience and starving for meaning. We have more access to wisdom than any generation in history and less interest in actually using it. Think about it. When was the last time you heard someone praised for being humble or stoic or self-sacrificing? Those used to be virtues. Now they're punchlines. People quote Marcus Aurelius between TikToks and break down over minor inconveniences. They share Epictetus memes, but need safe spaces when reality gets loud. We've created an entire generation that can't tell the difference between being uncomfortable and being unsafe. And that's not accidental. Weak cultures raise weak people. On purpose. Why? Because strength is dangerous, discipline is dangerous, conviction is dangerous. You can't control a strong man. You can only negotiate with him. But a soft, insecure, distracted man, you can sell him anything. He'll trade his freedom for comfort, his integrity for acceptance, his future for a dopamine hit right now, and the system loves that. Because here's the truth, hard times aren't coming because of some external enemy. They're coming because we let them in through every compromise, every excuse. Every time we said someone else will fix it, but no one's coming. It's you, it's us, and the only way out is through. Next, let's talk about what that actually means, because hard times are coming, and the test is already starting. The only question left is, what kind of man shows up when the collapse begins?